Do they follow me? I don't know.
Because I saw a whole bunch of them being released at the 5D shift.
Yeah.
But where are their origins? Where are they from? Are they galactic? Are they universal? And they're both. They're galactic and universal. So yours are also kind of stuck. I want to ask, can they shift with you? Like as you upgrade, can they follow your?
That's what I'm wondering.
Yeah.
Or do they have to wait?
Yeah, they can, but it doesn't look like they can physically do anything. It's more of like a consciousness thing rather than embodying like a light body form of theirs,
Yeah.
Like they kind of know, but it's like, because I see them turning, it honestly looks like they turn white and then they can like white light. And then they're just like, finally, we can break free. I'm getting out of here, breaking free.
Because they're more like a collectivist kind of, I don't want to use the word hive, but it's similar because they all follow kind of the head, like the queen, or so to speak, of the elementals that are lower, high frequency, low density. But because they're collective, I kind of wonder that they'll just go as a collective, not individual. Because the humanoid fae, they're more individual, so they have wider spectrum of emotion. They have more responsibility, more decision. They have the propensity more for light and dark because they feel those lower frequency emotions, so they're a bit higher density. So it's like maybe those ones can ascend on their, like everybody else.
Yeah, exactly. It's the first one that's the collective. That's like the big, But right now I don't see them. Like it doesn't look like they're able to. It's kind of like the lights are on, but nobody's home kind of a thing. They're like, God, I'm ready to go,
Yeah.
Go, body, go. Right. Do your thing.
Hitting the gas, but nothing's happening.
Yeah. Interesting. Huh. So that's another question. So if you decide not to physically be here, can they follow your path too? Or do they need to go through the 4D to 5D thing? I heard that if you're not physically embodied, they could go too. It's like a release. I don't really think that's meant to happen though, because they also kind of chose like their own life path and lessons and stuff. So it allows them to though, like, whoever, then it looks like it kind of switches. Then they can become like the more humanoid ones of like, yeah, I did all the things. So then I'm out of here.
Yeah. That makes sense. Because I know, because even if they don't know me personally, there are people that tend to follow the path that I'm taking. So because I know that because they'll discover me and then they'll be like, oh my God, like I did X, Y, and Z on this date, and it just happens to align and coincide with whatever I was doing. So and then when I dig deeper, do a report, I'm like, oh, you're fake. Oh. So like it makes me wonder, how connected or intertwined. In fact, there's one that I met, a follower who traveled from China to see me, who was a Fae origin, but he also was Andromedan. Of course, you'd have to have Andromedan. And he's very deeply connected to me, very deeply connected. And is like, you're my goddess, you're the creator, you're, all this. And so I feel like there's a bit of a connection there. So it almost feels like an umbilical cord. Like I feel sometimes of different beings that I don't necessarily know them all, but I feel it. That's that pool that I talk about, that I feel like I need to be here. Sometimes I wonder if it's not them too, but partly them, and like needing to, I don't know, bring them into the 40, bring them where somewhere, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's more so, well, from a fae perspective, it's, I mean, yeah, I could see how you would feel like you could stay, but if you decide not to stay, that opens up a door for them too.
Yeah.
Yeah. But hmm. But even then, it's like, the shortcuts. Like, well, if you open the door for them, can they really acclimate? It's to me, it's kind of like, well, I guess they wouldn't have a shortcut. They wouldn't be allowed a shortcut then if they couldn't acclimate to 5. Yeah, then I guess that would be like more individual. It wouldn't necessarily, it can't be collective.
Yeah, they would have to switch over, because at least that's how I see the ascension path for the collective phase. They move to the individual, like that's their how they shift, and then individual then goes from there to human, or human and then upwards to celestial. But it's not
Mhm.
it's not a linear thing. It's more like it's like parallel until it's not, like those ladder games you play like in your work, where you try and find like it connects to the circle here, but the ladders are all like this, so it's
Mhm.
like shifting, so if they choose and make this decision, they can go this way and then go up further. Otherwise they get to a stopping point and then they got to go right or left.
Mm,
So it's not linear of the trajectory. They can choose to go other routes.
okay, interesting. Yeah. Mm, yeah, I'm excited for you to connect with Anya,
Yes.
because there's a lot of parallels between you two too. I think it'll be enlightening too, because I did Azrael's last night, the male counterpart. And it's almost as if his and this universe or Michael's are kind of, I see the connections and the disconnect as well, because it's almost like this one is an opposite of Azrael's, because he's like a void. So he's pulled in energies. And then Anya is the female, she does the opposite, which is to like give, give, give. But he pulls in from the outside, it looks dark and ominous. And it's like, oh, you're like an energy vampire or something. Once you go inside and permeate the layers inside, then it's joy, it's happiness. That's kind of like from here on the outside, it looks great. But then you kind of go, the more you go in, the more it's like, wait, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So I also I saw something today with another person's records where, because he acts as like a void of like a section on 11 of bringing things in, it looked like here there was an attempt to do the same, but it didn't work in the same manner. It created like an opening. And then it looked like a bunch of angelics had to come in and like patch the opening, because it didn't act as like a suction, it acted as like a leak of energy.
Or like a void. Yeah. Or almost like a black hole. Because
Yes, like a black hole, exactly. Yeah. And then I was like, no, 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 we have to. And this is during the creation of this universe, so it wasn't like all the bells and whistles weren't necessarily put in place yet. It was still being, you know blank template kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I'm excited to talk to her, to see those parallels.
mhm.
And I'm gonna send you, like I said, I'm gonna send you the other person, because I really, really want you to do hers too. But I'll try and do her report first to see if it confirms. I had another client who presented Archangel, but his family was awake. He's not really awake, and on the surface, everything seemed like it aligned. He is a altruistic attorney profession,
Mm.
and but underneath the surface there was something else there. And so I would never send them to you the information I found out, but I wondered, because I was like, why would they let me activate him? And
Ah,
he's kind of a dark being. So in this life. So
mhm.
I was like, why would they let me activate
Is he
him?
a copy of Michael?
Mm,
Because I saw that a lot of different beings, especially in Egypt, I saw it through Azrael's when he was raw. There's a lot of copying going on.
it's possible, because I was told he was 2D before he was like literally not supposed, like he
Oh,
2D, and pulling him out literally, like he had the
mm.
same situation, got concussed, had staples put in his head, started speaking light language to the paramedics, and this is somebody who was completely asleep, and
Mm.
um and is now reading people's minds, and yeah, all this happened from the one reading I did and the one Zoom session. So, and then I found out later about who he actually was. And I was like, had I known, I never would have activated,
Hmm.
because he had 23 instances of karma in this life.
Oh my gosh.
And I had never seen that much karma ever. Unpaid karma. It was unpaid.
Yeah. But that's the one you do the tally marks, right? And you're like, oh, okay, did this happen when you were a child? Boom, 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 go down the list.
Yeah. So,
Wow.
but to have that many to have to ask questions about, that's insane. That's just,
That's
it's,
a lot.
that's a lot.
Yeah.
And that was 20. There was 23 total, but 3 were paid.
Oh, but only three.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, 20 left.
And so it was
Wow.
like, how did this happen? Because it's affecting his family that I also did readings for, that are awake and have
Mm.
gifts. And so I was like, why would the universe allow me to activate? Because they, even she, wasn't forthcoming about who he really was, and sent him to me. And my reading is an activation, so it inadvertently will activate whoever. And so I was just, why would they let me activate this person? So I'm kind of curious about that, but I feel
Let's
like it
ask.
was probably divine alignment. Yeah, let's ask.
Yeah. Let's ask. So why was he sent to you to activate?
This wayward archangel.
It's a lifting of that layer that needs to be had too, that needed to be done. So if you can see beyond like the dark and the light, that density also needs to be lifted to in a very roundabout way, it does help.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I figured, but I just want to make sure I didn't break any universal laws, like, you know, because he did, it was of his own free will. I mean, but
Yeah.
I don't know if he knew to the full extent of what he was
Did
getting
you do
into.
anything else in his rating other than just your standard stuff?
No, no,
Okay.
no. And then he went afterwards, he went to my Zoom class with everybody else. And, it's just a sit around round table talk kind of thing.
Okay.
No, personally, one-on-one, that was all he did, was that, the galactic history report.
Okay. I want to know, is there something else that activated him other than her report?
Because as soon as that happened to me on the 6th, it happened to him on the 7th. He was one of the people.
Oh,
It went crazy, and he even saw himself on my ship, saw the lake where I was at camping, all that. And he's not on Instagram, he's not on social media.
wow. Huh. Okay.
I feel like somebody might have had a hand in this. Was it Michael?
Yeah, let's ask. How's he that connected? How deep did you go with him? Because it seems like he could be a dark aspect of you as well.
Well, I mean, when you say deep, like, I really was standard. He did have a
Yeah.
draconian life though. So he did have some, well, he had the draconian life. He was there in Lumeria. He
Mm,
actually took some of the souls of the Lumerians that didn't make it to their
mm,
age. that was actually the connection to the wife and kids, was I helped save her, and I was with her children as they passed.
Mm.
And so, and then he took the child to the next station. So it was more involved in the sense of, because it was all interconnected, I did the whole family. So yeah, more connect and more involved in that way.
Because I'm hearing he's kind of like, it's kind of like like a shadow aspect, in the sense of, it looked like something happened in one of your lives, and you know how you cast a shadow when you're standing in the sun. It almost is like that when you walked away, that shadow like animated.
It's a shadow of this life.
Oh,
Yeah, he's a bad guy that mirrors a bad guy that I faced in this life.
okay. Okay.
Well, abuse. So domestic violence.
Gotcha. Okay. How does that happen though? Because this
I
guy's like not,
know. I'm like, how is it that
yeah.
they needed him? Like, I'm just.
Yeah, because it's yeah. Wait, were you abused or you abused? You were abused. Hmm.
That was one of my lives that that was one of the times I died.
Oh shit, really?
Mhm. Yeah,
Uh,
I was
okay.
drowned in a bathtub and beat with an
Oh
inch.
my God.
Yeah.
Ugh. Um, mm.
So that's why I was like, oh God, had I known, because that's like so icky for me, I'm like, like,
Yeah.
I've worked through the shadow, but I still don't want to be in the middle of anybody else's stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Had enough things.
I mean, that has to do with karma too. It's kind of like your tally marks, right? I wouldn't completely blame yourself for that. It looked like some way, somehow, time, space, reality, he took that on.
Yeah, I had like maybe one instance of car. Everything was paid before I came. I didn't have
No,
it.
not you, him.
Oh, him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I felt like because I had that connection to them in Lemuria, that it had something to do with his, because it's not directly affecting me, but it is kind of messy for me. Because,
Yeah.
it
Because
is past.
it's kind of like, to be honest, like, okay, if we're here to balance our karma too, it did look like he took that on,
Yeah.
of your shadow aspect, through his own will,
Mhm.
of being like, okay, I gotta get to a zero balance. I'm gonna take this on.
Yeah.
So, I mean, whatever is left, I mean, I mean, anybody who's standing in the sun, you expect your shadow doesn't just stay there.
Like my video.
Oh wait, yeah, yours. Yeah.
Actually does, but
Yeah. Yeah. Well, but before this, because
before.
yeah, this is before. Wait, because you did his activation before the 4D shift, right? Okay. Okay. Because I was like, wait, no, it's actually it's literal. Um, but yeah, that's what it looks like. So I don't know how. I don't know how he was able to take that on. But it looks like that's kind of, something that was merged in a sense. Um,
Yeah, because he's not going out in public because he can't stop reading people's minds. And I'm like,
oh,
it's got a karma, it's got some payback in there somewhere. I
yeah.
mean, you can't function in public and polite society.
Hmm.
So
Interesting.
hmm,
Well, I mean,
is that sacred rage? No.
yeah, like everything's kind of roundabout too. Is like it's constant, like I'm actually doing this with my mic. And this is what it's, I think I'm doing this for a reason because I never really play with my mic cord of like wrapping it,
Oh
like
yeah.
wrapping
Yeah.
and wrapping and wrapping. Like that's what it is to me of like what you did. It's kind of like the intertwining. Um, and it's intertwining energetically because it's all about it's all about the balance, right? The yin yang, the okay, I need to balance out all the karma points that I had. Um, this is an archaea, so maybe I can take on some of hers or whatever kind of shadow is left. I can help, obliterate that and then mixed with, all of the other stuff that he still had to deal with. To me, that's like a fast track. Like, I think that's why he feels so connected to you. Versus, I mean, technically, I don't like beyond that, I would think, if he knew an archangel, if he knew another archaea, that's of course in his human mind, his consciousness, he's not going to think that, right? But your subconscious is like, oh, okay, I have so much I need to get rid of right now. The fastest way for me to do it is to like help a big soul, and then that'll help to eliminate like 10, and then I have another 10 left, and then I can deal with it.
That's a lot.
Yeah, because I'm surprised they even said a shadow aspect because I didn't understand. Like I was like, how though?
Yeah. Yeah. No, as soon as you
Yeah.
said that, I was like, man, I kind of wondered.
Mm, yeah, that's okay. So honestly, that even like for you, it's helping him, to be honest.
Yeah.
So,
As long
because
as I didn't
everything,
break any universal laws.
but it's by his own free will that he
Yeah.
took that on.
Yeah.
So you didn't impart that onto him.
Yeah. No.
Hmm.
Cool. Good.
Hmm. That's interesting. I've never, well, anything's possible. So
This, I mean, at this point, I'd literally believe anything. At this point, there's just so much
yeah,
craziness happening.
interesting. Huh. So,
Can you
when
see?
you're in your, oh,
I
good.
was gonna say, can you see which archangel?
Which archangel?
Which archangel he's fractaled a fractaled small piece of? Because he has it
Oh,
in
you
his
got that he's
chart.
a fractal of one? Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's
well, he has archangel in like he in his chart, and he was there at Lumeria as an archangel. So I'm like,
hmm. I'm hearing he's fractals from Jophiel, who is 3. I don't know who Jophiel is.
Jophiel, some people say it's a woman, some people say it's interesting because I thought they would all be men, but Jophiel is often depicted as feminine, which is so bizarre to me because I'm like,
Mm.
what? But yeah, actually, the only reason I even know about Jophiel, as far as like being the woman, is I was looking at that thing you sent me, and that
Mm.
led me down a rabbit hole because Jophiel is my numerology 3. I'm 369,
It
and
is 3?
yeah, so I was like, thinking like, oh, okay, so if that would make sense if it was Jophiel, since that's my numerology 3.
Interesting. Cool.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's just puzzle pieces. I love when the puzzle pieces go here. I'm like,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
Right. Exactly. Points of validation.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, so I was curious when you're in your ship, do you see the simulation now that you're outside looking in?
You mean like, do I see?
The 3D, the shifting that still needs to be done.
So when I'm up there, I see, because it's all in here.
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm up there, here is all up here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when I'm up there, I'm seeing that reality and experiencing that reality on the ship. And the only reason I'm on the ship is because the Neptune beings have physicality. They're like 7, 8D. So they have to. So even when I am with Michael, he involutes even further, just like I do, so we can have a sense of physicality. It's not true physicality, but it's, form, and there's a sense of it, kind of like shape shifting, I guess. So like I see the ship, the entire thing is huge. What's really interesting is I often see it as very dark inside with a tint of like red and green. It's almost like the lights are red and green in a darkened ship. Yeah, so it was really interesting. So when I'm there, we're talking about the simulation and we're troubleshooting. So that night after everything happened, I went to sleep. I was right back in the ship. That's when I was talking with Michael. We were troubleshooting what went right, what went wrong, what could have went better about this process, this integration into so, and preparations for how we can change things for the collective. So yeah, it's talking about it, but it's not like I'm thinking, like looking at it as like an overview. It's more, I'm focused on what I'm doing and talking about it. We're strategizing and stuff, but we're not in it, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. I just confirmed. I was like, who is Michael's true twin ray? Michael, as the Archangel Michael, who is your true twin ray? And it is you. So it's always going to be Michelle. At 5D.
I do, but that's only because of before he ever said it, before I knew him, I was already working on that. So that's definitely a thing. And my closest friends of 13 years can attest that I'm going backwards. So
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, that's kind of when you can manipulate reality. And also I don't celebrate birthdays. I don't, because it's ritual.
Yeah.
And you're lighting a candle and you're choosing to subscribe to the aging thing. So
yeah. Because I actually heard that you're 37 with a child.
Okay.
And I was like, if you're 41 now, my human mind is like, well, that doesn't make sense. But I'm like, well, anything's possible. Literally anything's possible.
Exactly.
So that's more of like the age of like the body of bearing the child would be closer to 37.
Yeah. And so I'm like, I'm right now, that's probably around where I'm at, but I'm going to 27. So then we'll see how that works out in the time thing. I mean, I feel like okay, is that going to be before 5D?
Yeah, it's a good question. Is this all before a 5D shift, or is this at or post? I heard this is at. So because you're energetically corded, like he really has no choice but to feel it. Like it's kind of like you're helping him to even raise his consciousness and his frequency just from you being you. That's all. I mean, yeah, as much as you guys have all helped to lift up the males, it's maybe the other archeas can take a step back because they're not corded to him. Like you're corded to him. So it's always going to be a balance. It's always going to be maybe at one point in time, like you were the one that needed the help and the assistance, and he was kind of here to help you and lift you. But now you're in that opposite role of like, energetically, that's kind of what it looks like. Like, oh,
Dragging.
But I really don't know how this is going to happen, but it's more of like one is going to be the timing of ascension is like one's born and then the other one's born after. So
After ascension?
yeah.
Okay. Oh, interesting. Okay.
Did you get that they're twins at all? Because I get like two separate births.
No, I got separate.
Okay.
A girl, boy, and
Okay.
not maternal, so it's separate.
Okay. Gotcha. Hmm.
Mm.
He's kind of like delaying a lot of things. Can we do something to help?
Can we be of assistance?
Can we be of assistance? Uh, I heard it's to show him love. He on a human level is transmuting a lot of things that Michael did on a bigger scale too. So he's doing it in his human body. Um, yeah. So he would probably be so for example, there was a reading that I did with this one person who saw Natalie, the one I kind of shared with you is like wants a book with you too. She was like a mediator between the archangels. But she was not one of. So I was like, that's kind of interesting that you're like interacting with them on the same level as a sibling, but you're not a sibling. Um, and her job, her only role is to remain neutral. Because she actually, I dropped in on a scene where Michael did something to Lucifer and he was like in the fetal position. And she came in because she was a type of angel and she wrapped him and then like moved Lucifer out. And this is all happening in real time during the reading. And she's like, Michael is pissed. He's throwing a tantrum right now, like a teenager. And I was like, yeah, he's mad because I just told you like something that he did that's not, on a pedestal of what he wants to be looked at. And so it went probably 20 minutes past, or she's like, I have never seen him like this. Like Michael he never acts like this with me. And I'm like, well, there's two sides. We all have polarity. It's just, he always wanted him to be, seen a certain way, himself a certain way, projection. About 20 minutes passed in the reading, and then she goes, oh, Michael's crying. And then I was like, it's okay, he's processing, like we all love, we all love you. Yes, no matter if you're embarrassed or you're shameful, we've all done these things. It's okay, we all still love you. It's just now's time for truth. And that's all it is. That's all we're here for. Even Natalie, when she redirected the connection, she was saying the same thing about, how he was like reacting with her. And I was telling her the same thing. I was like, just tell him that we love him. Tell him, there's no ill will or hard feelings. It's just we're all trying to help the game a little bit quicker. And the fastest way to do it is through love.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. That's what I say too.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what, just gotta show him love.
Mm-hmm. So his humanness, it also looks like he's doing a lot of processing too, of these things within his body. I could see why he's still kind of stuck in that density too.
Yeah, that makes sense. Especially now that I know about the tricking things and those not so you just can't be sarcastic and not get into stuff. You know what I mean? Like you can't. I feel like to be a sarcastic ass, you need to have a certain level of assholery in you.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, like
Absolutely. Yeah.
So
It's
I was,
funny because that's how a lot of people that connect with Michael, they say the same thing about him. I'm like, well, I don't know. I don't really connect to, like, I just I observe everybody.
yeah.
And I try to say things, it's like, that's why I don't like to read anything. Cause I'm like, I don't want to be filtered, have an overlay on top. Like I want to be as much from source as possible in a very like maternal and loving way to see everything
Yeah. Yeah.
and to share with you. This is it. It's not good or bad. It's just, that's how things are.
Yeah.
Or were, or that's what you did.
Yeah, that's how I was too with God. And before that, nothing. And because I felt like it's important to keep the integrity of my channel and my information that I have literally from before birth, intact. And then, so now I'm only recently branching out, starting to want to learn about what others say because I'm curious now. Now it's I know what I know, and I want to see if it matches anything else because I'm curious. Like, can't be the only one with this information, So
I think, there's truth, and that's why there's truth in all religions too. If you can see past all the, the manipulation of it, there is truth in it. That's why I still like to reference the Bible, because I'm like, yeah, there's truth in it, but it's layered in the humanness.
Yeah.
But I could see it like with you, to be honest, because knowing that my son is Uriel, of course I started to read about Uriel. I'm like, who is Uriel? Let me see.
Yeah.
So I could see for yourself. Of course you're gonna like, of course I want to read about me. What do you guys have to, what do you humans have to say about me?
Yeah. Yeah, and I only did that recently. Because I told you, like in the other reading, that I thought I was a fractal of Michael. So I'd only ever known because he was always there.
Yeah.
So I just thought, oh, well, I must just be a fractal of him or connected to him. Yeah.
You and Anya are going to have a grand old time talking about this, because she experienced the same thing with Azrael. That's honestly, it was like a lot of gaslighting too, of like, you came from me, I created you. And it's like, no. You are two halves of one. You're always seated with this to create this. If you didn't create the feminine counterpart, I don't know, maybe source would have been like, okay, next. You didn't do what I asked, so I'm gonna like take you out of the game and then put another one in.
Yeah, it's a split, not a birth.
Split. It is a split.
And that's what they need to understand, is that it's a split, not a birth. There's no hierarchy. It is this way.
Exactly. That's why it's like this. It's like two halves of an apple. That's it.
Equal, counterpart, complement.
Yeah.
Those lessons.
Yeah. I hope that gave you clarity, especially after all of this, the Michael shenanigans here on Earth.
So many Michael shenanigans. Oh goodness. Hey, it's a fun, it's an interesting game
to tell him when you're in the astral. You're like, what is your human doing?
Oh yeah, he's gonna get an earful.
Oh yeah.
An earful. What is going on? And I say like,
Yep. Interesting. Well, just another day.
Yeah, it is what it is. I got no hard feelings, but man, sometimes the density, I'm just like, I'm over it.
Yeah.
Move on now. Okay.
Yeah.
This second, what is it? Same song, fourth verse. Come on, let's get going.
Yeah, exactly. I do want to ask one more question, since we're still in your records. Are all of the archangels and archaea physically incarnate right now? I always suspected that they were, but now that I know some of them are children, I'm kind of curious if they are all here, or if they will be here. I heard yes, as of 2020.
Okay. Minus little miniature Michael.
Oh yeah, minus, yeah. So yeah. Yeah. Oh, I wonder if they'll give me a date for baby Michael.
When's baby Michael coming?
Baby Michael. Baby Michael, when are you supposed to come? You guys are gonna do something wonky with time. I mean, I know time doesn't exist, but I asked for a year, right? I'm like, can you give me a date for baby Michael to come? Be birthed, not in seed. To be birthed into a human. I heard 2023, so that's part of like, I don't know what you guys are doing with time, but
Well, there is supposed to be one more conference. Wait, I should have said that.
yeah. Well, yeah. Tell Michael, get your butt back here.
Goodness.
But yeah, no, that's very, very interesting. He knew he couldn't leave the big Michael to do it by himself. He was like, here's my little one. What is that, like, second string? My second string backup.
There's just so many layers to that are just like
Yeah.
side-eye.
It's funny because like that's honestly that's like a multiverse. That's how it works. Everything is in constantly. Go and then you go back in and then go and then yeah, it's constant. Exactly.
Mhm.
So when he said, oh, he's in Michael, I was like, well, the only way he could be in Michael is sperm. So because he's not a female, so he can't be pregnant. Yeah.
So many layers of that is just so weird.
Do you remember ever having children with Michael in past incarnations?
Mhm. Yeah, well, okay. You mean in other iterations of Michael?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So Lyrian, the Lyrian.
Hmm.
Possibly the mermaid, possibly the Syrian bee. But those are the lives are different, like the mentality is different.
Mhm.
Let me think. Yeah, I feel like those would be the and wait, was he? I don't think he was Pleiadian. I was wait, I think was that the one like we interacted but didn't have exactly together. I think that was the one.
Mhm.
I'm kind of curious.
Let me open my curtain because now the sun's going down.
Yeah. Yep, so that's the one we didn't. So yeah, I would have just been the Lyrian, Syrian, and mermaid.
Okay. Interesting. Hmm.
Because I've had that memory of the Lyrian one.
Okay.
It was very National Geographic.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Um,
And we thought the Greek and Roman gods were messed up. I'm just saying.
well, I mean, like everything is just a microcosm of a macrocosm.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So it's just endless repetitions of the same things. Have we learned nothing?
That's what I'm saying, girl. I'm just like, when are we gonna learn? I just see repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. Like,
Yep. Yeah. So I want to question, is this girl like you, like a aspect of you then, if you're having two, boy and girl? I got that she is. So in the same way that you're creating like fractals of yourself into these children. Because the question was, is this an aspect of you or is this another soul? And I heard no, it's an aspect of you. So it's not necessarily, like, Michelle down the street who's also named Michelle. It's actually you,
oh, okay.
or like Janice down the street. No, Janice Janice would not be in the body of that girl.
Oh wow.
Who's
So you're
coming
saying
first?
it's a mini me.
Yeah. So who would be coming first? Is it the boy or the girl? The boy would be.
I got to.
Yeah. Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man, to be on a fly on the wall in that ship in your astral meeting space.
Oh yeah. It's
Michael, you got some explaining to do.
Michael, I'm home. You got some explaining to do. It's getting messy. Okay.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
feel
You
like
know
when
that.
they talk about these things that they those are the parts I forget, like when I come back. Because
Mm,
they're like, otherwise it's like a spoiler alert,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But to be honest, I think the only reason why they're sharing this with me is because, we boiled this all down to why are you still physically here? Like you don't have to be here in this body, but you need this body to bear those children. So that's an aspect of being like, well, you better hurry up and get your stuff together.
Yeah, because that's part of what I feel is that like unfinished business is that in the love aspect,
Mm,
like complete whole healthy, keyword healthy love
yeah, healthy for sure.
family unit. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
okay.
Because I guess that the boy would experience both aspects of like kind of remembering, like it's almost like imprinting onto the child too, of like, remember just how crappy this was, that we don't repeat it. So it kind of is, it looks like the boy experiences both, like not just ascension, like the girl is only just ascension, but the boy would kind of experience both of like, it's almost like he's so awake when even though it's a little baby,
Mm,
like the consciousness of like an older child when
yeah,
when he comes through.
like me, like how I was, like I came
Yeah,
in.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Interesting. Oh,
So one last thing. So Korea, yes or no? Going to Korea, yes or no? Because why?
I'm saying
I
yes.
know yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, because the pull there is so strong. It's so strong.
Mm. I'm surprised you've never been, even when you're in
Well,
China.
no, I have been to Korea, but I
Oh,
mean,
gotcha.
I'm feeling, that's part of why I'm feeling drawn to go back. One, I have friends there, and two,
Mm.
it feels like a second home. It literally feels like home too.
Mhm.
And yeah, that's the only way I can describe it.
Yeah. So it looks like as part of the tectonic plates moving is that like it was part of Lemuria and then it just like shifted over, right? With the movement of the Pacific Rim. So because I was like, why do you feel such a strong connection? Like Korea, it's so random. But then they showed it to me how it was moved.
Yeah, that makes
So
sense. Okay.
like it was more in the middle of the Pacific in a sense. Yeah.
No, it was. Well, there was a big continent in the middle that was
Mm.
Lemuria and shifted. That's why they chose the portal of in Mount Shasta and then Australia and then Hawaii. Like all of that was like spread out
Mhm.
by that shift, but also that cataclysmic event, which was the deluge flood,
Mhm.
because that was created by this going like that. So
Did you say the Devonian flood?
no, the I said the deluge of the flood.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, because literally the land was like this, and then it went like that
Okay.
when the plate shifted. So
Mhm.
that was caused by what the Atlanteans did. So that accelerated
Gotcha.
that reaction in Gaia.
Ah, okay. Yeah, now I see it. Okay, that makes sense. I never looked under
Yeah,
to see what happened.
because it
Okay.
happens all the time in nature today. I mean, islands go up.
Hmm. Yep,
So
totally makes sense.
yeah.
Cool. Well, yeah. So I'll close your records and then we can chit chat after. Okay. I'd like to thank Primordial Source Creator for their love and compassion. I'd like to thank the Lords and Keepers of the Records for their point of view. I'd like to thank the Holy Spirit of Light for all knowledge and healing. The records of Michaela Brea are now closed, amen. The records are now closed, amen. The records are now closed, amen.